In this video, we'll talk about how to solve the composition of three functions. So let's say we have these three functions, f of x, g of x, and h of x. Let's say we wanted to solve f of g of h of x. We would write that as f of g of h of x. So it's important that when we write this, we use open circles because that means f of g of h. If it was closed circles, that would be f times g times h, and that's not what we want to do. So we could rewrite this as f of g of h of x. So to solve this, we first want to focus only on these inner two functions, g of h of x. So that tells us we just want to write g of x, but wherever we see an x, we want to replace that with h of x. So we would write g of h of x as, instead of x plus 5, we're going to replace this x with h of x. So that would be 3x minus 4 plus 5. So now we can just simplify it. 3x minus 4, so a negative 4 plus 5, that's plus 1. So 3x plus 1. So g of h of x is 3x plus 1. So this whole inner portion is 3x plus 1. So now we just need to evaluate f at 3x plus 1. So let's write that. F of 3x plus 1. So now, looking at this f of x equation, wherever we see an x, we want to replace that with 3x plus 1. So instead of writing x squared, we're going to write 3x plus 1 squared. And instead of writing plus x, we'll say plus 3x plus 1. So now we can evaluate this. So 3x plus 1 squared, we can write that as 3x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. And then we still have this plus 3x plus 1 out here at the end. So let's FOIL this. 3x times 3x, that is 9x squared. 3x times 1, that's just 3x. And then we have 1 times 3x, that's also 3x. And then we have 1 times 1, that's 1. And then we've also got this plus 3x plus 1 out here at the end. So let's combine like terms. So we have 9x squared. Here's a 3x, here's a 3x, here's another 3x, that's 9x if we add all those together. And then plus 1, that's plus 2. So our final answer is 9x squared plus 9x plus 2. That's what f of g of h of x is equal to. All right, let's try another example. Let's say we have these three functions, f of x, g of x, and h of x. And let's say we want to evaluate f of g of h at the value 2. So we can write that as f of g of h evaluated at the value of 2. So the first thing that we're going to do is just look at the innermost function, h of 2. So h of 2, that means plug in the value 2 for x into this h of x equation. So that would be, instead of x squared, we're going to write 2 squared. Well, 2 squared is just 4. So h of 2 is equal to 4. So now we're going to look at g of 4. So now we plug in the value 4 for x into our g of x equation. So that's, instead of 4x minus 8, we write 4 times 4 minus 8. So 4 times 4, that's 16, minus 8 is 8. Okay, lastly, we're going to look at f of 8. So we're going to plug in the value 8 for x of our f of x equation. So instead of writing x over 5, we'll write 8 over 5. And there's nothing to simplify here, so that turns out to be our final answer, 8/5. So f of g of h evaluated at the value 2 is equal to 8/5. Thanks for watching.